Alex here with a legal nuts and bolts video on failing to agree. So I've covered this a lot in a lot of my previous videos. I think a little bit in mediation settlement, a little bit in the various different abusive ex videos. And I'm going to dedicate a video to it because this is one of the things that drives me a little bit crazy. And this is one of the things that I end up having to tell people a lot. If you and your ex cannot come to an agreement on an issue, stop bothering them. They're going to make you look like an abusive harasser, a vexatious litigant, and you're going to create so many exhibits when you finally do end up taking the matter to court, if you do. Present an argument as to what you think is best. I know this is a legal nuts and bolts video, and I know I just referred to an ex. High conflict child custody cases is typically where this tends to crop up. People will ask their ex to consent to something, whether it's a vacation, when to see their kids next, changing schools, whether they relocate, whether they're allowed to relocate, changes of custody, changing the timeshare. People talk about these things, usually in an email, over the phone, maybe face-to-face, if it's a normal relationship. Otherwise, it'll be in Our Family Wizard if you're already in a deep, if you're up to your elbows in high conflict child custody, you're going to be using Our Family Wizard. Anyway, the worst thing you can do is to continue to badger them over and over again just because they don't agree, especially if you're calling them names, especially if you're making insinuations. And guilt trips don't even get you anywhere. I can't believe you're putting the kids through this. I don't know how you sleep at night. First of all, if they're a personality disordered ex, they don't care. So you're wasting your breath. And second off, you're not making it any better. If you have asked them to consent to a certain thing and they have disagreed, and they're not giving you some kind of justification that you can sort of get around. So like if they raise an objection, you can try to overcome the objection, obviously. But if they're just saying flat out no and I don't want to hear it and that's it, stop. Just stop. What do? You file a motion. You ask the court to make the decision. And sometimes, especially with a high conflict child custody ex, especially if they're personality disordered, sometimes that means you're going to be filing a lot of motions. Once I realized this, I actually started to get more consent out of my ex. Towards probably year 2 or 3, I had to file motions all the time. I would say, can we split, our taxes? I want to claim him on odd years, and you can claim him on even years. He responded, basically saying no with some kind of inane logic. I said, okay. I filed a motion. The court responded. Parties are ordered to split the taxes up. And he ordered us to file there's a special form that you can file with the IRS. Actually, maybe I'll save that for another video. I won't go into details on that. Next thing I know, she's taken him to appointments without telling me. I asked her, can you tell me when the appointments are so I can go? She came up with some BS logic on why I couldn't. Okay. Did I badger her? No. Filed a motion. The court ordered. Now she has to tell me. What'd she do? She started telling me I can go. She started telling me about appointments within a day of when they were scheduled. One time even within 11 hours. I remember that one. She scheduled an appointment 11 hours. She scheduled an appointment and gave me 11 hours notice. I asked her to stop. Did she stop? No. What did I do? Filed a motion. The court ordered she had to tell me 14 days in advance. There were child support. I asked for a change in child support because of a change in income. She refused. Filed a motion. Filed a motion. Filed a motion. After I filed so many motions, she started to get the hint. And she wouldn't agree to everything, but she would start to agree to some things because she knew what I was going to do. If you are in a high conflict child custody case, especially if it's with a personality disordered abuser, do not threaten them because it actually makes it, you aren't taking it seriously. If you want to come off as a strong person, you shouldn't even threaten them. You should just say, hey, can I do this? And if they say no, just file it. Boom. File it with the court. And if you do threaten them, you better follow through. Never threaten a high conflict child custody ex with litigation unless you're going to go through with it, because they're going to never forget that moment that you threatened them and you didn't go through with it. They will never forget it, and they will continue to wreck your, they will continue to drag you through hell. So if you do threaten that you're going to file something, file it. You have to do it. That's why the best thing to do is not threaten it, because that way if you talk to an attorney or you do some research and you find out you can't win, you can just back off. Once you've threatened them, you just, to them you're going to look incredibly weak if you don't follow through. And I can't remember if I made that mistake. I may have made that mistake early on, but I do know that I eventually told myself from now on I'm not going to threaten it, because if I do, I'm going to go through with it, and that's what I would do. So in a nutshell, this video is simple. Try and get a consent from your ex on an issue, or if you're in any other kind of case, it's the same principle. Ask the opposing party what they think about this. If they disagree, stop. Don't bring it up anymore. Ask the court to order it or let it go. That's how it has to be. In another example, I don't know if I gave it to you. I told my ex, just so you know, I'm thinking about moving to Las Vegas to get work. She sent me a response, I will never give you permission to move to Las Vegas. Now, I could have argued with her. I could have said, well, that's not how it works. Here's how the law works. It's not my job to educate her on the law. If she wants to think something that's wrong, let her think it. Let them believe their erroneous understanding of the law. Don't help them. I didn't say anything. I was like, okay, that sounds like a pretty strong no. I'm not going to try to change your mind. I'm going to try to change the court's mind. Filed a motion to relocate. Motion was granted. The court ordered her to let me relocate. That's how you have to deal with these issues. And also, as I mentioned this earlier, also the number of exhibits involved is a lot lower. When I file my motion, I show the court my request, her response, and that's the end of it. It's not 17 different exhibits of our email exchanges, bickering back and forth, calling each other names, guilt-tripping each other. No, it's the court doesn't care. They don't read all that. And once they see it, they think you're both crazy. They're not going to think just one of you is crazy. They're going to think you're both crazy. So for all the people in a high conflict child custody case, just keep this in mind. As I mentioned, this is a legal nuts and bolts video. It applies to other people too, but especially to those high conflict child custody people. It's a 3-step process. Request, read their response, and file your motion. If you're dealing with a person who is not responding to you, start giving them deadlines. So file or send them an email or something saying, you know, I want to be able to get our kid into this school. This is a very time-sensitive issue, so I'm going to need an answer back within a week. If they don't answer you in that week, boom, file a motion. And then the court will force them to file an answer to the court. So, and I've had cases where the judge was real pissed off because he asked at one point, you know, you're asking to go to the school. What did she say? I said, she didn't say anything. I found out what she wanted when I read the opposition to my motion. And so the judge got really angry with that because he thought that I was just being the harassing party because I was filing so many motions, when in actuality, he found out that my ex was being unreasonable. So I should do a separate video on that too. So with that, I'm going to end this video. I have a couple of new video topics that I'm going to add to my list, and you'll be seeing those pop up quite soon. So I'll see you guys next time.